Today we're going to be talking about one of those questions that I get every so often, usually 3 or 4 times a month, sometimes more frequently than that. But that question is it a good time to buy a house or should I be waiting? And of course, what my answer to that normally is, well, it really depends on what you're waiting for. You know, most people, if they're renting and they've been renting for a while, they're not building any equity, obviously, in their rent house. If there's everything going good with their job and their personal life and all of those kind of things, there's usually not a really good reason to wait. But usually people have 4, maybe 5 different reasons why they're thinking that maybe they should be waiting. The first reason is interest rates. I don't care what interest rates are. They can be good, they can be bad, but it's normally not a good thing to be waiting on the interest rates. Right now, interest rates have been at historical lows for several years. So it's a great time to be buying as far as interest rates go. And if somebody thinks that they need to be waiting for interest rates to go down even further, I'm not sure that makes a whole lot of sense. And if we're in a time where interest rates are really high, maybe there's something going on temporarily to make the interest rates high, yeah, I can see waiting for interest rates to go down a little bit, but that's usually not the case. The second thing is they want to know about credit scores. They say, well, I'm not sure about my credit scores. I think if I get my credit scores a little bit higher, I can get a lower interest rate. Or maybe they're not sure they qualify. But if you do qualify with your current credit scores, it's not usually a great idea to be waiting for your scores to get up to get a better interest rate, because you don't normally get a huge difference in your interest rates for the number of points that you might be thinking about. You know, if you're going from a 660 to 700, your scores aren't your interest rates aren't going to be changing that much. You know, if your scores are in the 550 range and you just don't qualify now, that's a different story. But if you're currently in a score range that you qualify for a home, you're really not going to gain that much by waiting on interest rates. And that's because of home prices. That's another question. Sometimes people will say, I think home prices are just too high now. They're going to be going down. I'm going to wait. Well, home prices very rarely go down. You know, if the economy's really, really bad and there's some really tough things going on in the economy, yeah, you know, home prices could go down a little bit. But in the 32 years I've been doing this, I've only seen 2 periods of time when home prices really went down, and they didn't go down all that much. But anyway, if you're waiting for home prices to go down, you may be waiting a while. And while you're waiting for home prices to go down, interest rates could be going up, and that's not a good thing, because that means your payments are going to be the same, even if your interest rates do continue to go up. The prices just aren't going to go down enough to make up for the difference. So that's not a great idea. And last but not least is I'm thinking I'm going to be saving more for a down payment. I don't want to just put down a 5% down payment or a 3.5% down payment for an FHA loan or anything like that. I want a 20% down payment. Well, most people, if they wait to save 20% for a down payment to buy a home, they may never buy a home, because sometimes, depending on what you do for a living and your savings and family size and all that, it can be very, very difficult to save 20% for a down payment. Most people are better off buying a home whenever they can, even if it involves down payment assistance, because you could be getting just a little higher rate by taking down payment assistance, but in the length of time it might take you to save a 20% down payment, which could very easily be 4 or 5 years, you could have lost all your opportunity for a lower interest rate, as well as home prices have probably gone up. So I'm not sure you gained much. So anyway, if you're thinking about buying a home, just kind of wondering if the timing is right, sometimes it makes sense to talk to somebody that you trust, get some good advice from, maybe a realtor, maybe your parents, friend, brother, sister, or something like that, and just ask them, hey, what do you think about the timing on buying a home? If you'd like to talk to me, I'd be glad to talk to you. My name is Kyle Noe. I'm with First United Realty. I'm right here in the Oklahoma City metro area. I'd be glad to talk to you. Whether or not you're ready to buy a house, I'm always here to talk and give you some good real estate advice and at least give you my opinion. You can always reach me at 405-210-5319. I'd be glad to help you in any way that I can and give you my opinion. There's no charge for advice. And even if like I said, you're not thinking about buying for a few years, I sure don't mind talking to you and giving you some advice. So I'm here. Just give me a shout. If there's anything at all I can do for you, I'll be glad to help. Thanks again. Appreciate you watching this brief video. And hey, it really probably is a pretty good time to be buying a home right now. Bye-bye.